always hungry for those big returns when we invest in the next big IPO or tech company, but sometimes our hunger is best suited for companies that have already been around for over a century and have consistently rewarded shareholders with value. Milton S. Hershey founded the company bearing his name in 1894. Hershey's is the leading producer of quality chocolate in North America and global leader in chocolate and non-chocolate confectionery. Hershey's products are distributed under 80 brands in approximately 90 countries. Now, October is the month that we all think of candy, so let's take a closer look at Hershey's stock to see if it's worth buying. As always, guys, these videos take hours for me to research and animate, so please be sure to show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Hershey's is very focused on North American sales. In fact, 89% of its revenue comes strictly from North America, while it tries to expand internationally. Hershey's most popular brands are its Hershey's Bar, Hershey's Kisses, Reese's, or Reese's, depending on how you pronounce it, Kit Kat, Twizzlers, Jolly Rancher, Payday, among others. Basically, whatever your kids are getting for Halloween this year, there's a good chance half that bag is Hershey's products. Hershey's main competitors are Nestle and Mars. If you remember from my richest person in each US state video, it seemed like a good bunch of those billionaires were from the Mars family, so you know that this is a good brand and industry to be in. 71% of their manufacturing is done right here in the United States, including one in Hershey, Pennsylvania, a town named after the company, which used to feature a Hershey's Chocolate World on Chocolate Avenue. Now, to sell chocolate year after year, you need to come up with some sneaky ways to make people think they need chocolate. And that's exactly what Hershey's has been doing year after year without you even realizing it. Keep an eye out for the next time you share a special memory with a family or friend. Think about all the holidays where it's totally acceptable, sometimes even expected, that chocolate be exchanged. There's Halloween, birthdays, graduation, Christmas, and who can't forget Valentine's Day, because what's better than fattening up your significant other? Hershey's loves to be part of the many connections friends and families gathered throughout the year. It's almost like Hershey's is synonymous with celebrations and good times. It's a very similar marketing campaign that Coca-Cola does, where it's always associated with a good feeling and celebration. Next, ever notice how when you're checking out at the store, there's always candy seemingly placed right next to you in line, just screaming, "Buy me"? That's no accident. Hershey's collaborates with its retail partners on its in-aisle strategies that will lead to more sales. More often than not, they are at eye level of little children who can then start to beg their parents for a Hershey's bar. This is a really genius marketing tool and has been working for generations. Hershey's also has strategic initiatives to strengthen its core confection business and expand its snacks portfolio. It acquired the company Amplify Snack Brands and Pirate Brands in 2018, which offer baked, trans-fat-free, gluten-free snacks. In all, they had $7.79 billion in revenue in 2018. That's a 3.7% increase from 2017 and is basically in line with what they have recorded for each of the past 4 years. Hershey's, though, has been on fire as of recently. Its past two earnings reports beat expectations on average of 9.22%. Revenue is forecast to come in at $2.1 billion in the second quarter, up 2% from a year ago. And earnings per share is expected to rise 3% to $1.60 per share. Profitability jumped thanks to several positive trends, including the shift toward higher margin product sales. Hershey stock has been on the rise nearly 50% in the past year. That's more than Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Google. Like I said earlier, sometimes it's the more simpler stocks that we should be hungry for, the ones that deliver time and time again. Now it's time for the dessert, which you have all been waiting for. Hershey's has paid a dividend every year since 1930, and it has a long history of raising its dividend as well, except in 2009 during the last recession when it was frozen before resuming again the next year. Its 5-year growth rate is just under 9%, which is also in line with its 10-year compound annual growth rate. With a payout ratio of around 54%, Hershey seems to have plenty of room to not only continue to expand its business, but raise its dividend in the future. In terms of dividend safety, looking at free cash flow is a good indicator. Free cash flow is the amount of cash left over after the company has paid all of its expenses and capital expenditures. When free cash flow is positive, it shows the company is generating excess cash that is used to run the business and reinvest to grow the business as well. It's not only had positive free cash flow for the past 5 years, but it's also gone up every year with $1.2 billion in 2018. It seems like everything is looking very appetizing about Hershey's. However, due to its amazing growth in the last year, it's now trading at a 28 PE ratio, and it only gives you about a starting yield of around 2% in terms of dividends. Its industry average is about a PE ratio of 21. So I would probably wait for a correction before I start buying some shares. $10,000 investment in Hershey stock 10 years ago would be worth $50,000 today. That's an average annualized return of 17.52%. Of course, that's with the dividends reinvested. I wouldn't reinvest the dividends, however. Instead, I would choose to spend that on actual Hershey's bars because they're so cheap. Which is another reason why I like this stock, because whether you're poor, middle class, or rich, most people love chocolate and they aren't going to judge you based on what kind of chocolate you buy. I mean, this isn't like the 3rd grade anymore where we flexed on who had the most candy or not during Halloween. Alright guys, let me know if you agree or disagree with me in the comments. I'm sure there's a ton of cons to this stock as well that I didn't cover, so be sure to let me know. I do respond to every comment as well, and if you guys ever have any questions, be sure to hit me up on Instagram. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and for the remainder of this video, here's a little montage of the Hershey CEO being asked the most ridiculous questions on CNBC. Enjoy them as much as I did.
What about CBD? Would you ever put CBD into some chocolates?
Clearly as a food company, we are constantly evaluating any consumer trends or ingredient trends that impact the category. It is a huge trend. So we're evaluating it. We have no plans at this point in time. And frankly, there's some work to do from a regulatory perspective. Currently, it is not legal to ship interstate a food product that has CBD.
You do like a CBD gummy or a CBD, like a CBD kiss?
Not today.
But wouldn't that be something?
We'll continue to monitor it and evaluate that trend in the food business.
What is the biggest age group that eats chocolate? Is it young people or older people?
It's consumed by the masses, really. We are a category that has 98% household penetration. So perhaps Joe Leno is passionate about our brands.
How much chocolate do you eat a day?
I would say probably comes down to the equivalent of a bar a day.
So beyond meat, what do you think? Beyond chocolate?
I think food is evolving, and trends are going to continue to evolve, and I think there's opportunity there. To do those good things.
Chocolate. Chocolate the best in the world.
I believe so.
These are the questions you ask.
Grow up with taste profiles, and people who grow up here largely believe American chocolate is the best and have that kind of.
Okay.
Thank you.